Buonasera, welcome back to our Italian sessions. In fact, this is Italian for beginners. I haven't posted any video for a while. The last one was Lezione 26, lesson 26, where I introduced the past tense. I did wanted to give you some time to digest the past tense, and also, if you remember, on the last video, I did advise that you watch some other videos which are not on the playlist. They are on the channel anyway, and they can be useful for all levels. Um, and this also is for the past tense. So remember, the lezione 26, lesson 26, was just a taste, an introduction to the past tense, passato prossimo, which is one of the past tenses that I'm going to cover, and you need to learn in order to be able to say a lot more. When you know the past tense, then you can talk about what you've done in the past as well, what you've done yesterday and this morning, not just what you do at the moment or on a regular basis. So as I said, that was just an introduction because on the channel, I hope you have had a look. You will find a video, in fact, more than one videos that does talk about passato prossimo in many details that will be useful. And also, as I said, there are some other topics which are useful for beginners. If you have reached this point, you're not complete beginners anymore. And I'm sure you have used other sources to enrich your vocabulary because, like everything, really, not just these videos, but any videos, any channel, if that's what you watch, or any classes, are never enough. You always need to do your own work and widen your vocabulary in your own time. By the way, before I forget, this is I don't do advertising for anyone. It's just ideas, things that I have already. If some people may find this useful, this is Italian English visual Italian English visual dictionary. So basically, opening there are so many different, completely different topics inside. I've just opened a page. This is talking about babies, for example. We have, what do we have? Oh, food as usual, obviously. We have food, sport, bit of geography, and here we've got parts of a motorbike, transports, so many. As you can see, it's quite a big book. So you have the pictures and you have the words in Italian and in English. Very, very useful, especially for those with photographic memory. And so you can, well, find these different buys, whatever, online or not, if you think it can be useful for you. This is one way to widen your vocabulary, and also with the help of the pictures. That's why it's called a visual bilingual dictionary. So this is one way. So as I said, I left you about a month ago with the introduction to the past, and however, with the opportunity to watch many other videos on the channel. And if it is the first time that you bump into this video or any of my videos, what I do, I have a channel where I have videos that cover different levels and different topics, and then I have one playlist which is Italian for beginners, which is where this video is going to be. So this will be lezione 27, lesson 27. We'll see what we're going to do now. And when I post my videos, I always ask you to obviously like, share, and subscribe if you are happy to watch more of my videos, and also to comment and ask any questions you like about whatever I have covered on the video, and also feel free to request any topics that I haven't covered yet, or ask me more information about any topic that I have already covered. If it's an easy answer, so it could be a clarification, just a question about something, or it could be, as I said, a request for a topic. If you have a specific question, I can answer briefly in the comments. I'll do that. Otherwise, I will upload a video with more information, more examples. So having said that, I think we are going to start with lezione 27, lesson 27. What we're going to talk about today is something that, especially beginners, then you stop worrying about it later. But as a beginner, when you're studying, especially you're going to visit the country, you want to know how to do shopping. Obviously, if you go to a supermarket, you just pick up your stuff, push it on the trolley, pay at the till, and that's done. However, both in the supermarkets and especially in street markets, you do find yourself in a different context where you have to ask specifically a person about the produce that you'd like to buy, and the quantities as well. So especially in a street market where there are stalls, which are bancarelle, and the market normally is il mercatino, a little market. But also in a supermarket, supermercato, where there are I can't even remember, I don't remember in English or in Italian. There are the counters where they sell fresh food. Normally, it could be bread, it could be um, sliced meats, or many other things, really. Some yummy things, actually. In Italian, these counters are called singular bancone, il bancone. For example, il bancone del pane, um, or il balcone dei salumi. So when you're in this context, then you do have more interaction with the person who is serving you. So let's see. We are going to look at. Oh, there it is. But I need to share it, not just look at it myself. There it is. So let's see what we have here. So we're talking about fare la spesa. Fare la spesa, which is do the shopping. So we're talking about food shopping. We have something similar. I did mention this before, but it's always good to repeat things over and over, in fact, which is the way to remember and learn. Fare spese is instead all the other shopping. So if you are buying anything else, basically, which could be clothes, shoes, or accessories, or other things which is not food, that is fare spese in general. I said fare la spesa, we assume it is food shopping. So, as I said, al bancone is at the counter, or al mercato, or mercatino, which is a street market. As I said, in fact, let me write down here the word for stalls is singular bancarella. So una bancarella is one stall, or le bancarelle is the stalls. So what worries normally people is obviously at the beginning you want to say something, but then you don't know what are they going to ask you. Um, so don't I'm talking from experience. There are some who I think they keep failing a little bit nervous about doing shopping, so they want to cover every possible question they may be asked, every little detail, but it's not really possible to do something like that. I don't know what you're going to buy. I don't know what they're going to ask you, because every day there could be something specific, or also specific produce that maybe they sell in one area, not in another area. So some questions that cannot necessarily apply to everything. So do not worry about having absolutely every word that you think you may need. It's better to have some basic words, and also especially also the name of the produce. You can always point, remember, and obviously the point is to learn them, to learn the name of the produce, but in emergency, just point. And just the Italians are very good with gestures, as you know, so you can really have a conversation without even any word. Just learn from Italians. Um, and then remember that when your vocabulary is a little bit richer, you can use that vocabulary in any context, including the shopping. So instead of, as I said, trying to anticipate or prepare for whichever question you may be asked, learn the name of the produce, vegetables, obviously fruit, if you're buying from a market, then name for basic products like milk, latte, pane, bread, etc. The numbers, obviously. Now here we're going to see the weights or quantities, and then don't worry too much about everything else, because, as I said, you can use the vocabulary that you have learned in other contexts. You can use them for different contexts. So it's always better in general to have a core um, 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 knowledge of words or vocabulary that you can use in different contexts, and then learn more specifically words which you can use in those specific contexts. So let's see. Um, Here. So first of all, do not try to say, can I have? It doesn't work in Italian. Can I have? In English, obviously, that is the polite way to ask for something. But in Italian, you don't need to, in fact, if you translate it, of course, you can translate it literally, and use exactly, can I have? Posso avere? Posso is can I, and avere, have, follows by whatever you do need, the product that you need, the item. But it's not exactly how Italians would ask for something. So feel free to say that, and prepare it and use it. However, you're not going to hear many Italians using these expressions. So when you arrive, as I said, al bancone or al mercato, you can greet the person, buongiorno, buonasera, and normally the person will ask you, as I said, it's not a rule, they can ask you who knows what. Anyway, some ideas are desidera. Desidera is what do you desire, which we have seen this when we saw a little bit something about a restaurant or a bar. So desidera, what do you desire? Another word that you may hear, they may say, is prego. Prego, which has many meanings, and prego is always a polite word, so it means please tell me what you need, basically. That's in one word, which is unheard of in Italian. Normally, you need a lot of words to say just one in English. It's the other way around normally. So these are a couple of ideas, a couple of things the person at the counter or the markets may say to you. So, as I said, we started with a buongiorno. If they say something like that, if they don't worry if you don't understand exactly what they say, because even as I said, if I go in another part of Italy, maybe they're used to say something different. So this is a general possibility. So this is now we are coming to asking what you want. As I said, if you do want to translate literally, can I have? Do that. Otherwise, remember that vorrei. Vorrei is always a very polite way to ask for anything, anywhere. Remember, vorrei can be followed by a verb or by nouns, which is what we're going to see now. So you go with vorrei, which feels polite enough. Vorrei means I would like. However, you probably will hear from Italians, and if you are, for example, if you're moving to Italy or spending in Italy enough time to have a certain routine, going to do your shopping and learning a little bit more the colloquial language, these are a couple of expressions that Italians use. Mi dia, this is formal. Mi dia means give me. Mhm. Or mi dà, whatever, with a question mark as a question, will you give me? So this is your can I have when you translate can I have really whatever, please. In Italians, give me that. Or will you give me that? If you want, you can add per piacere, per favore, um, per piacere o per favore. If you want, you can add them. Again, in Italian, we don't use them very often. We do have two or three ways to say please, but they're not really used as often as i- definitely in the UK or in normally the English language comes always with these polite expressions. So remember that if you do want to use please, you say per piacere or per favore. Do not pronounce this in Spanish. I'm not going to pronounce it in Spanish now. Per favore, which is easier. So maybe for now, leave this to Italians if you don't feel comfortable with it. Or if you do, just go for it. Mi dia, and then you say what you want. After this, perhaps do add the per piacere or per favore, or as a question, mi dà, and then you ask for what you want, and again, do use the per piacere or per favore. Otherwise, remember that vorrei is a way to ask for anything, anywhere. So here we have just some examples of quantities. So if you are, especially at the market, not really, this doesn't really happen. The first three examples doesn't really happen at a counter in a supermarket, unless I don't know what you would be buying. It depends again, what do they sell? If they're selling cheese, maybe you do want a kilo of cheese. Although normally it depends again, are you buying and then you're, to take back, for example, to your country, or if you're living or staying there for a while, you're just buying for a few days, for a week. So you're buying smaller quantities. Again, who knows, is the context and the situations can be completely different. You can't cover everything. The just idea is then you need to pick and mix and match, and adapt everything to your situation and your context. So, quantities, we're talking about un chilo di, so a kilo of, or 2 chili di, 2 kilos of, whatever you need, or mezzo chilo di, half a kilo of. And then obviously, as we said, if you are especially at a market, then you buy these bigger quantities. So you would like to learn the names of vegetables, verdure, and frutta. If you don't remember them, or if you don't know them, you haven't learned those, or if you see something really that looks appetizing, but you don't know the name for it, just point. Questo. You can only say questo. Questo means this. And then they will tell you. Italians are always very happy to share the language, to correct you if you get it wrong, and to tell you the word if you don't know it. So yeah, don't feel, oh, I didn't learn the word for aubergine, melanzana. It doesn't matter. Just point, and they'll tell you what the name is. They'll make you repeat it if you're lucky as well. You get a free lesson in vegetables. Uh, so yes, un kilo. This look how it is written. When we are abbreviating, it is kg, which is international. So un chilo di melanzane, aubergines, 2 chili di mele, apples, mezzo chilo di cipolle, onions. Again, we're not going to do all the vegetables and fruits because you can learn them either from something like that or anywhere else you can find online or in a book. What we have here is another way, another it's a weight which we do use a lot in Italian. So un etto. Etto is the abbreviation for ettogrammo, so un etto is 100 grams. We do use it a lot. So you can, this is for buying smaller, obviously smaller things or smaller quantities of things, which normally you don't buy a lot of. Some examples here are formaggio grattugiato, grated cheese, salumi, which are sliced meats. We'll see this salumi in a little bit. It needs to be clarified. Olives, etc. So those things that you see at a counter, for example, and you buy a small quantity of. Uh, so we do use very much un etto if you want 100 grammi. You can choose, you can say un etto di formaggio grattugiato o 100 grammi di formaggio grattugiato. The plural would be due etti, due, tre, o so, due etti. 200 grams, 200 grammi. So you can decide which one to use, just in case you hear it and say, oh, what are they talking about? Or, for example, you ask for 100 grammi and maybe the person at the counter instead uses etto, the word etto. And say, what is she talking about now? So now you know, so un etto, 100 grammi. So as I said, we use it for things that like grated cheese, things to put on top of a dish, or the sliced meat. As we're talking about sliced meat, so salumi, which probably you may have not seen it, you know salame, which is not salumi. So salumi are all the cold meats. So the word I salumi, maschile plurale, includes all the cold meats. So the cold meats are salame, il salame, la mortadella, il prosciutto crudo, which is like Parma ham, il prosciutto cotto, which is just a normal ham, the pinkia, lighter color ham. Bresaola, mortadella, Eva said la mortadella, la pancetta, so many different types of salumi. So I salumi are it includes, the word salumi includes all the different types of cold meats. which what do you call them? Cold meats or something else? Can't remember. In fact, another way of calling the cold meats, which you can again buy at a counter and have them sliced in front of you, so you can choose there are some different types of the same cold meat, different types of salame, different types of mortadella, different types of prosciutto, different types of everything else. Uh, so they could ask you quale vuole, which one do you want? And then again, questo, quello, or point, or say questo, this, quello, that. Normally everybody has to point, unless they've given you the name and then you can repeat it if you remember it. Don't worry too much about, oh no, I don't know the name for it. Doesn't matter. You learn gradually. It's better to learn, um, as I said, a few words, the most important words, like the quantities and most of what you think you're going to buy. But obviously, the person at the counter, in the shop, in the market, they will use words that you don't know, but don't worry about it. You just you cannot know everything. Next time you will probably know it. Next time you go back, you realize, I didn't know that. It happens all the time. So you do your research, and next time you go back prepared. Uh, so as I said, if they're giving you a choice of different types of the same produce, they could ask you quale vuole. So, and then I said questo, which is this, or quello, which is that. So these are examples of, and like I was saying earlier, the questions they may ask you. They may ask you. Um, so one example of the many questions they may ask you. But don't get stressed by doing shopping. Leave the stress for something else. So other questions when you've asked for something, they can ask you if you want something else. Altro, meaning other or else. In fact, uh, if altro really is a bit of the abbreviation of qualcos'altro, something else. Qualcos'altro. Qualcos'altro, anything else, literally something else. And then your answer can be no, nient'altro, no, nothing else. Or you can say basta così, that is enough. Enough like this, enough like so. They can ask you also, for example, you've asked, I don't know, 100 grammi di salame. They can show you, or maybe there is 100 grams plus two slices. So they could ask you if it is okay for you. So they could ask you, va bene così? Is this okay? And you can answer exactly the same way. Sì, va bene così. Or if it's not okay, then you just say no. And good luck with explaining what you want. I don't know what else you like. You can say maybe do you want less? In this case, you say di meno, actually. Or if you want more, then you say di più. Più actually needs an accent. I'm putting apostrophe, but it needs an accent. So this again, these are examples. And as I said earlier, because I'm always happy for you to ask questions. If you've heard something, or if you are going soon to Italy and you're planning to do shopping and you're planning to ask to use certain words, do put in the comments. Ask me, what do you think? Is this correct? They told me this, but I didn't understand. What did they mean? Or I said that. Why did they answer in a way that I wasn't expecting? So if you do have examples, feel free to put them in the comments. and I'll read them. And by the way, I missed a couple of comments for such a long time. I don't know how. I have replied now, but yeah, they were quite old comments. But otherwise, I do answer them. Uh, so yes, these are, as I said, some examples of what you can say and hear when you're doing a bit of shopping in Italy. Fare la spesa. What I forgot, often at the supermarkets where you have these banconi al supermercato, uh, there is very well hidden normally. There is somewhere where you take a ticket. Uh, so look for normally red, but not necessarily, maybe sometimes they're different color. And then you get your ticket. And because, well, if you just see the ticket, if you're not too stressed, then you just see the numbers coming up at the top. Um, or they're calling the numbers anyway, so you do realize there is somewhere that you're supposed to take il numero, prendere il numero. So prendere il numero. Yeah, is you take the number, your number. So yeah, don't forget that. So I think that is it for the shopping for today. And as I said, feel free to ask me any questions, leave any comments, ask for more information. If you have any ideas, if you think, oh, I'm going to buy this and that, what's the best? Um, so if you give me something specific, then of course I can or we can find some more questions, more information that you can ask about. But otherwise, this, as I said, is very general. So I hope this was useful. This was lezione 27, lesson 27. And we start again. I am back on the lesson, so I hope you've had the time to look at other videos and practice different things, and we'll start adding something a little bit more complex now because we've done the basics. So now we can add a bit more things that are not so much fun, but really useful. I'm sure you're looking forward to that. So I will see you on our next video. That will be lesson 28, lezione 28. Arrivederci, ciao.